I always thought my marriage was strong. Not perfect, but after nearly 8 years, I never once doubted Lisa's loyalty. We weren't just partners, we were best friends. Or at least I thought we were. We'd built a life together, shared inside jokes, travel memories, those late-night kitchen talks where you believe you really understand someone. Even the little arguments were part of our rhythm. I trusted her completely, and that, I now realize, was my biggest mistake. Looking back, the signs were there. They always are, aren't they? You just don't see them when you're in the thick of it. It started gradually, almost too quietly to notice. About 6 months before she filed for divorce, Lisa became strangely invested in the house. Not the cozy kind of interest, like painting the guest room or planting flowers. No, this was different. She wanted paperwork, documents, numbers. The house had both of our names on it. We bought it together 5 years earlier after scraping together savings. We split the mortgage payments down the middle, but I had contributed the majority of the down payment. That money came from an inheritance my grandfather left me before he passed, a gesture that carried more emotional weight than financial. That house wasn't just a structure, it was our home, a symbol of our journey, of roots we planted together. Then one evening we were sitting on the couch watching TV, and Lisa brought it up. "We should consider refinancing," she said casually, like she was asking what we should order for dinner. "Just under my name." I blinked. "Why?" She had her answer ready, smooth as butter. "It'll help us financially. My credit score is better, so we can lock in a lower rate." It made sense, on the surface. And yes, her credit score was marginally better than mine. But something about it, it felt rehearsed. I remember my heart skipping a beat. "Wouldn't that mean taking my name off the deed?" I asked slowly. She waved it off. "Only temporarily. We can add you back later. It's just paperwork. You trust me, right?" That part, "you trust me, right?" was what made my stomach twist. Lisa didn't talk like that. She didn't need to. That line was more manipulation than reassurance. Something was off. I didn't push back. I told her, "Sure, let's look into it." But inside, alarm bells were ringing. I wasn't angry yet. I was just confused, hurt, maybe even scared. The very next day, I scheduled an appointment with a lawyer. His name was Ethan. Calm, sharp, the kind of guy who didn't blink twice at shady legal tactics. I showed him everything: our mortgage, the house documents, the proposed refinance paperwork. He looked it over and said just 5 words: "Don't sign out a damn thing." So I didn't. But Lisa was already 3 steps ahead. A few weeks later, she came home, her smile radiant. "Good news," she chirped. "The refinance is done. You don't need to worry about anything." I played dumb. "Oh, did I miss any forms to sign?" There was that pause, a fraction of a second, but it was there. "Nope," she said a little too quickly. "It was all online. I handled it." That's when I knew. She forged my signature. Somehow, some way, she did it. And now the house, the one I poured my savings and memories into, was solely in her name. 2 months later, I was served divorce papers. She acted broken, teary-eyed, whispered things like, "I just don't think we're working anymore, and I hope we can be civil." But beneath it all was that glint in her eye, that smug confidence, like she had already won. And why wouldn't she think that? On paper, she owned the house. On paper, I was irrelevant. She had already lined up a real estate agent, probably picked out new furniture for the next place. In her mind, she pulled off the perfect heist. What she didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that I had already been preparing for weeks. When the court date arrived, Lisa walked in like she owned the place. Literally. White blazer, flawless makeup, head high. She gave me this look, like I was a puppy that didn't realize it was about to be put down. Her lawyer started confidently. Your Honor, Mrs. Lisa Carter is the legal owner of the marital home. As demonstrated by title records and mortgage documentation, Mr. Carter has no legal entitlement to the property. I didn't flinch. I didn't say a word. But Ethan? He stood up slowly, flipped through a few pages, then said calmly, Your Honor, while the property is currently listed under Mrs. Carter's name, we have significant evidence indicating the transfer was achieved fraudulently. That word hung in the air. Fraudulently. Lisa's smile twitched. Ethan laid it all out. A forensic handwriting expert had reviewed the documents. The signature attributed to me? Fake. We had proof Lisa contacted the lender without my knowledge. We had forged authorization forms, email threads, texts. She even tried to rush the process to avoid my detection. Lisa's face lost all its color. Her lawyer shifted in his chair, suddenly less smug. But Ethan wasn't done. He flipped open another file. Your Honor, there's also the matter of the prenuptial agreement. Lisa's head snapped toward me. Our agreement clearly states that any major decision involving joint assets must have signed consent from both parties. This act not only invalidates her claims to the house, it voids her right to spousal support as outlined in Section 4 of our agreement. Lisa's mouth fell open, then closed, then opened again. Nothing came out. She finally snapped, This is ridiculous. The house is in my name. That's when I spoke, for the first time all day. Chilly, Lisa, I said, leaning forward. The court won't need to rule on anything. She narrowed her eyes. What are you talking about? I let the silence stretch before saying, Because I'm suing you for mortgage fraud and financial damages. Her face twisted. You're bluffing. Ethan calmly interjected, We've already filed. She should be served any moment now. Right on cue, a court officer entered the room, walked up to Lisa, handed her an envelope. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Her eyes scanned the words. Then she screamed, You can't do this to me. I deserve that house. The judge slammed her gavel. Enough! Lisa sank into her seat like the air had been sucked out of her lungs. The judge's verdict was swift and merciless. The house would be immediately transferred back to me. Lisa would be responsible for all legal fees, and based on the forged documentation, the case would be forwarded to the district attorney for potential criminal prosecution. Lisa gasped. You can't, Mrs. Carter, the judge cut her off. Compose yourself or be removed from this courtroom. Her lawyer stood, gathered his files, and said without a hint of emotion, Your Honor, I would like to formally withdraw from this case. Lisa spun to him. What? I can't represent someone who knowingly committed fraud, he replied, before walking out the door. Lisa turned back to me, tears in her eyes. You ruined my life, she whispered. I stood up, buttoned my jacket, and looked her in the eyes. No, Lisa, you ruined your own life. I just made sure you didn't take mine down with you. She collapsed into hands. I didn't stay to see the aftermath. I walked out of that courtroom, the sound of the heavy doors slamming behind me, ringing like closure. Weeks passed. Lisa tried to fight the fraud charges, but the evidence was stacked sky high. She was found guilty, fined so heavily it wiped out everything. Her savings, her reputation, even her real estate agent ghosted her. Friends stopped answering. Her world fell apart. One afternoon, I happened to drive by our old house, now fully mine again. That's when I saw her. Lisa, dragging a suitcase down the driveway of a dingy rental across town. Her hair in a messy bun, face hollowed by stress and regret. She spotted me. I rolled down my window, gave her a long, quiet look. Then I said, Nice place, Lisa. Looks cozy. And I drove off. This time I didn't look back. You know, people often think betrayal only happens with strangers or enemies. But the truth is, the deepest betrayals come from the ones who once looked you in the eye and said, I love you. It's not just about the house, the money, or the paperwork. It's about trust. How it's built slowly over years and destroyed in a moment. I wasn't perfect. No one is. But I gave everything to that relationship: honesty, commitment, patience. And what I got back was a well-planned lie. If you ever find yourself questioning your instincts, don't ignore that voice inside you, the one that whispers when something feels off. I didn't fight back out of anger. I fought back because I deserved to protect the life I built. Sometimes walking away isn't weakness, it's survival. And sometimes justice doesn't come with a bang. It walks in quietly with a calm voice and simply says, "Not today." If this story hit you somewhere deep or made you think, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more, and share your thoughts in the comments below.